Hi, Emma. Hi, George.
Hi. Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're
not
all
too
good.
bad.
I'm familiar with it, so you better explain what Delve is to everybody else.
Oh yes, to the unfamiliar. Do you want to
Do you
take
want to? I can take the lead. So Delve. I guess it sort of originated in second year for us, where we tried to make a game sort of inspired by RPG tropes and sort of D&D, and didn't turn out quite as we planned. But we thought, you know what? Third year, round 2, went back at it. So now we have Delve. It is a top-down isometric turn-based dungeon crawler, heavily inspired by tabletop role-playing games, specifically Dungeons and Dragons. Well, we hope you like it.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's get that queued up.
Ready to play.
Also, like the online multiplayer should be working now, so we can all play together since we have 4 people.
Oh, cool. All right. I don't know who else is playing then. Are you playing?
Oh, we can only one of us can play.
Yeah. Well, do you not
Do we
Okay.
need? Do we need 4 people?
No, we don't. We can have
Okay.
we can have an odd number and everything.
Do you want to play it? Or
No, you're an honoured guest, Terry.
okay, I'm an honoured guest, so I shall play it. Okay. It's beautiful. Well, first thing to say is I know this well because you've been my team in third year, and I think it's some gorgeous pixel artwork for it. So, do you want to talk us through what we're actually seeing here, and run through the introduction? Or am I doing it? I'm controlling this, aren't I? It's on that
Yeah.
screen. Sorry, it's a while since I've done this. Okay. Right. So, stories told through a set of tarot-like cards, isn't it?
Yes. So we sort of wanted to play into medieval fantasy tropes, and we thought explaining the story through tarot cards would be a really fun way to do that. And yeah, a lot of the art style and everything is very heavily based on late medieval Germany, early Renaissance, all that sort of stuff. And the story is also, and shamelessly admit, it's based on a D&D game that George and I are in.
Yeah.
So,
We were looking
Where
for
better to
narrative,
draw inspiration from?
and
Yeah.
we just went, we need a world. And I went, I got one.
yeah.
So that's where the inspiration comes from.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, right. So I'll move forward a bit. So there's a great story. You've got captions and beautiful artwork which shows the story unfolding. I'll give you a second, as people watching on this, to read it. But it's very nicely written. And the story continues throughout the game in little snippets of dialogue as well, which is quite good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll take it slowly, let you read it, because you don't want me to read it aloud. It will just ruin the atmosphere. So I'm going to pick a username, and I'm very boring. I'll select that name. So I'm
Classic, Terry.
There you go.
That's what we came here for.
And so play.
Yeah.
And-
Create an online session, hopefully.
There we go. And
There we go.
so-
Nice. What's the room code?
You better get in quick before anybody else does. 7361.
7361.
Yeah.
Go to room.
Right. I'm in.
There I am. So
And
if you
then-
want, you can have a look through the different characters, hover over the ability icon to see what each of them does, because they all play very differently and fill different roles within the party as you're adventuring.
And this is a nice touch because you carried through this like sprue-like thing as if it's a plastic model that you would paint
Yes.
later. And at one point you were thinking of maybe allowing that to be customized, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's sort of a thing we didn't manage to get to do for the sort of this build we have now in the constraints of the year, because we sort of thought about having customization, sort of a whole system of you're able to sort of paint your own miniature, but we found it was just a bit too overscoped, and we'd rather get the core gameplay loop polished more than just sort of having extra little cosmetics.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, the whole miniatures aesthetic came about just because we didn't have an animator, and we're thinking, because we dabbled last year in some pixel animation, and we didn't have a dedicated animator there, so it was all largely, I think it's myself and a couple others working on small sprite sheet animations, and it's so time consuming. We thought, without someone dedicated to it, let's just find a way to not animate them, and that's why we have miniatures.
Excellent. And each of the characters has a whole set of skills down the side that they can use later on in the game. And each of these skills, you can find out what they can actually do. And it's got a range and a cost and so on. So I'll let people have a look at this as we go through rather than give you a complete brief with it now. But I've got 2 characters. Blimey, that's good. So we'll just delve, shall we?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's delve. Right, here we go.
He said the name
I said the name what?
of the game.
Delve.
Yeah.
That's the whole, yeah.
Almost like it was intentional.
Right. So, do you want to describe how did they get here? What's the setup for the characters getting here again? Can you give the people a quick brief?
So, do you want me to do it, or you do it? Or
I'm happy with either way.
I did some of the writing, so I guess I can talk through it. But the story is that this empire used to be very prosperous and everything, from delving into ancient dwarven ruins that were found beneath the foundations of the empire. But they didn't realize that there was something down there that they sort of unintentionally let out, which sort of infected the world with a sickness which caused it to crumble and tear itself apart. And in that whole scenario, a new set of ruins was found, and people saw this as, well, in this crumbling, desolate world, going down there and finding riches to get the hell out of here and do whatever I need to do is the way to go. So each of the characters have a different reason as to why they're down here, which you can find out in a tab on the main menu called the Journal tab, and it's just a little bit of extra story for anybody who wants it. Cool. About their motivations and stuff. Okay,
so there's an order that characters progress in, and if any enemy come in, they get slipped in at the appropriate sort of point in that. So yeah, this here is the order that the characters are going to take their moves in, and each character has a set of moves here and a set of ability sort of points to go with it. So this is the jester. He's got a very bizarre. That's the one that's always got me. It's the one
it has been updated now, so now it's a 2-staged ability. So rather than just throwing a bomb at his feet and suffering the consequences, he throws a bomb at his feet with a longer fuse and then runs away from it before it explodes.
That's a good move. I'm not going to use it yet, obviously, but we'll use it. So
yeah, let's.
I can move up to whatever the lit area is. So let's make my first move. There we go, and then we get a little bit of dialogue. Here we go. So I'm yelling that out. Okay, so who's next?
It's you again, I believe.
Me again, okay. So I'll move down to there.
One thing that I'm really impressed with this game is how much you have nailed the kind of early to mid 90s pixel art aesthetic to a T, and that is a difficult thing to do.
Thank you very much.
I've seen so many student games that go, we're going to do pixel art because it'll be easier. And as you know, it's not at all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's so difficult to get scale right, making sure that, you stick to a resolution like a DPI and make everything look consistent. And again, I think it's just an assumption that you've got less pixels, so that means there's less work to do, right? When really you've got less pixels, that means you've got, 5 pixels to express emotion and expression in a character. It is such an impressive feat, this game.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it was a very large part of our development where we wanted to channel that sort of old, I say old, older game sort of feel, along with the tabletop elements to hammer home some of the nostalgia that comes with all of the genres and concepts we're exploring.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to think how best to play this because, as you'll know, I'm not one of the best players of this. So even though I've played it quite a few times.
I just want to give a shout out to my sister who's watching. Hi, Lizzie. She also says that Rich should definitely be sacked from the cafe. But she says not the Games Academy, just the cafe. You're unqualified, overqualified.
So each of these are different skills, and you'll tell me what you're doing when you do it, and I'll do the same with mine because I can explain the moves that are being carried out.
They're all running away.
That's the enemy AI, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have an aggression system that functions sort of. It depends with different enemies you come across that you'll hopefully see if we have time. But for the most part, a lot of the more human enemies will react in a, I guess, very human way. So if they're losing a fight, they'll try and get out of there. Which then adds additional value to certain abilities, such as the Duelist's Flurry, which will immobilize a target. So if you have a target that's trying to run away from you and keeps shooting you from a distance, you can just stop it in its tracks and then finish it off with the Mercenary or the Knight, so one of your bruisers.
I'm now going to try and get close enough. Except if I do, I probably can't. Oh, I can throw something.
You could probably throw a dagger.
I can throw a dagger, can't I? So
Yeah.
no, I can't.
Oh.
I think it's the 1-2 to the left. So that's the Duelist's buff you've got selected. The dagger is the one next to the move.
Oh, that one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
It's Andy's fault. His thing's in the way.
Sorry.
Hopefully you get a good roll. Because this guy's quite injured. Oh, yes!
There you go. 2 dead. So hardly any damage taken. Excellent.
I think you need to click through the dialogue.
Click the dialogue, yeah. Tide side. So this is the nice bit with the dialogue actually carrying on as you go. So you could play this individually and get a story as you play, which I think is quite nice.
Yeah, so with developing this, we were thinking at first like it would be really fun to fully embrace the D&D experience and have like everyone can customize their own character and play them how they want. But we realized because of the nature of it's a dungeon crawler, you don't quite have the same freedom to explore in the way that you would with a D&D character. You can't really interact freely. You can't explore story and plot threads freely and react in your own way, like just based on our scope.
Yeah.
So what we sort of settled on instead was having a cast of characters where they all had their distinct personalities and they would all develop along sort of a set narrative, just because it was A, lot more in scope, and B, I feel a game we used as a large inspiration for sort of the character development is Vermintide 2.
Yes.
Where they have the Ubersreich 5 and they have a very, very strong sort of party camaraderie.
Yep.
And ideally we'd develop this sort of banter system further if we were to keep working on the game, and hopefully get it so that you really can feel all of the different bonds and sort of tension points between the different characters as the game progresses.
That's a nice touch. That will be quite pleasant. And
I remember there were times where I had to sit down and watch as everybody else played the game, and I would just be taking a tally of every time banter came up and what it was about to try and sort of get an idea of when it should be like popping up.
I suppose the big problem is you don't necessarily know what order people are being killed off and what order and the enemies are taken out, or what the AI is going to do and when it's going to be close enough. So you've got to handle all that as well when you're trying to write the dialogue, so it's always right.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to remind everyone again to go and vote for your favorite games. Favorite first year game, second year game, third year game. All separate categories. All of them will win a prize later on for the audience vote. You can vote for the games on the EXPO Discord. expo.falmouth.games. There's a link on there to join the Discord if you've not already. Please, 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 please go and vote. We had a slight technical hitch, I am told, where some of the very first votes that came through after we opened were lost, I think. So if you have already voted, just go and vote again. You only have one vote, so if you re-vote for the game that you want, then that will just make sure that you are locked in. So if it was in the first 20-30 minutes, I think, then just run your vote again. But please, if you're watching, go and vote. You know, if you've seen something that you've really enjoyed through the expo, not just on the stream, but across all of the games that are, you know, entered into the expo that are available to play on Itch or Discord, then go and show your support for that team and show them how much you enjoyed their game. I'm not explaining this very, very, very nicely, but each action has a number of action points, and you can see how many are available here. So that if you want to, for example, if I want to throw this bomb, I need 3 action points left to throw the bomb. And so if I move him, I can see when I get down to 3, and so I keep those 3 back, and then I can lob the bomb down at his feet and destroy him, which is quite a nice little touch. Except I'm not probably going, oh, I did kill him with that. I didn't expect that. Okay, that's good. He's already been damaged, I think. Yeah,
because with the enemy sprites, they have their normal state, their injured state, and then their very injured state. So there's a sprite change when they become injured, and then they start flashing red when they're on their last 20% of health, I want to say.
Yes. So the very last legs, they will start flashing red.
Okay. I haven't taken too much damage yet, which is good. So I must be getting better at this.
I mean, you had a long time to do that.
I know. It's been refined a few times.
Do you know what? It's funny. I didn't realize that you were this team supervisor. But I saw it on the list of games earlier, and I thought, this is a Terry game. Because we were looking for games for you to come in, and that would be like the most suited for you to pop in.
Got you.
And what a coincidence.
Absolutely.
It's almost like you had something to do with this.
Yeah.
So now's the moment to mention, as you can start to see some of the other enemy designs. We've taken, rather than the classic high fantasy sort of pulling from all over the place with sort of gorgons and like griffins and all that sort of stuff, we've decided to look from a like purely artistic point of view at manuscripts taken from medieval period Europe, where they drew the most bizarre and crazy stuff. Like they're snails with beards. Need I say more?
Yeah,
they have some really good sort of source material. It's definitely a bizarre exercise though, turning sort of these almost, I guess nowadays they look quite comical, but turning them into horrifying monsters. Like I think the artist who did a lot of the monster design, Alfie, he did a really good job of translating it into something that's genuinely quite unsettling.
I can remember the maps you're looking at, and there's things like in the middle of certain parts of Asia, they thought the people with no heads, the head was embedded on the body, all that sort of stuff, which is quite nice. It's nice that you did the research for that. I've got loads of time here.
Yeah, I think we spent quite a few meetings just going, oh, what is that? While scrolling through like websites and Google Images and everything, just to put together mood boards for what we wanted our enemies to be.
I think that's great. I think that's what you need to do with an RPG. Is the proper research, and that's good.
Yes, sadly one enemy that didn't quite make the cut, but was I think a team favorite was a fish with legs.
Oh my god, yeah.
There's a fish running around on 4 legs, but they were human legs, so that was fun.
Well, why didn't that make it in? Is that just you ran out of time?
I think it's just sort of, we weren't really quite sure how to fit it in a way that I think the way to put it is, whilst we loved it as a concept, it didn't quite fit tonally with the sort of more eldritch horror aspects of the rest of the game.
Okay. Oh, I've got to move up on that one to there. going to be way back if he's going to... Oh, you can fire from... No, you can't fire from...
Oh no. Do we have the...
I think I blocked
We might do.
I've blocked it. Damn. So you can't actually get it now.
I think it's right on the threshold.
That's
We'll
a
see.
rookie mistake.
Yeah.
Do you even delve?
So we're not sure yet. We will see, but we might have a known bug triggered here.
No. Oh. Maybe.
You can't get through because I'm blocking. That's not a bug. I wouldn't have thought.
Usually you
said
should
that.
be able to move through.
Yeah.
Right. So it is a bug. Oh.
We'll see. We'll see.
You could have just rolled with that, guys.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that's a good implementation. I can block people by doing it. And now you've given the game away. It's a bug. You didn't.
Just smooth it
Should we
over.
wind back time and do that bit again? You know, I really
Oh,
like
wow.
that.
Here's the thing, this isn't even the bug we were thinking of. So we found another one.
No.
The issue with this room was- we'll see if it happens, and then we can talk about the feature when and if it happens.
We're gonna have to mute you if you keep shitting on your own game. Come on. For your own good.
It seems like it's working.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, there was no bug in this room. Never a bug ever.
No,
Yeah,
never.
what are you talking
I don't know.
about?
Yeah. I don't know what I'm-
Absolutely.
Working as intended.
Oh, come on.
We're being given the time warning.
Oh, right. Okay. So, tell me, I think I heard that you talking about you wanted to take this further next year. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's very early days. I think for the most part we're taking a break from it because we're all a bit tired at the minute on the team. But I think that's fair to say. I think a lot of people in third year are probably in a similar boat. Just
Yeah.
at the minute, the last thing they want to do is look any more at their games.
There is a
But,
universal feeling of tiredness sweeping across the Games Academy, isn't there?
Yeah, I know there are a few of us on the team who are sort of still going to be around the Games Academy because we're doing various games-related masters courses. So we're looking potentially to just sort of work on it in our free time, see where we can take it with that, and then look to potentially develop it even further from there.
By the way,
So sort of,
I just wanted to
sorry, go
point
ahead.
out, someone has helpfully posted the definition of the term bug in the chat, which is a slang term for funky features. I like that. Sorry, guys. Do go on.
No, I'm just saying sort of, yeah, I feel what we've got here, it's a very small vertical slice of what we'd intend it to be, but the useful thing is we now have all the frameworks that we can just build from. We just, all of the mechanic stuff is mostly sorted, it just needs polishing.
Yeah.
The art stuff, we can just build more tile sets, build more levels, and turn it into a game from there. We've sort of got the core building blocks already now.
Yeah, and I suppose you could improve the or change the abilities even just by changing some of the properties and giving them new names and so on as well. So you've got a, as you say, a really good framework. I love the aesthetic. I love the bitmap style. It's very reminiscent of when I started getting into this industry anyway, back in the Spectrums and Amstrads and Atari STs and things. So I think it looks great. It looks gorgeous.
What?
So, Andy, anything to say?
I thought you were in your 20s.
I wish. So, you said we're running out of time. So what's...
Yes. We must move on. soon.
Okay.
Guys, this is absolutely lovely. And thank you very much for talking about this. I think everyone in the chat, I've been seeing loads of positive comments just about how much they've enjoyed the discussion with you guys and kind of hearing your sort of director's commentary as we go through this.
Well, I'm glad that we're engaging.
Yeah.
But yeah, since our multiplayer is working again, if anybody wants to like hop into our Discord channel on the Digital Expo server, then like feel free to come along.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, it's definitely worth it. So thank you.
So it turns out, I don't know if you guys have met Joe, fellow lecturer here. He is exceptionally good at posting itch links at the relevant time. I think that is one of his hidden talents. He's just dropped a link in the chat, web pigeon in the chat, a link to Delve on itch. So guys, please go and check that out.
Yeah.
So, Emma, George, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
having
having
us.
on.
Cheers, guys. We're going to
Yeah.
take another 2-minute break while we just reconfigure, and we'll be back with you guys after the break for our last game of the day, which is Bosch Battles.